It's
Do you think
strange.
do you think there are beings aside from humans that feel as deeply as humans do? Because I know that's maybe a human thing, but or are there that feel even deeper? Do you think?
I mean, if you can think of it, then yes, there are.
Well, I don't know if I can think of it.
Well, you just did.
Well, I'm just asking is there you know what I mean?
I mean, it would have to be something of a physical universe. But, you look at all of the billions of varieties just in our galaxy, and then you look at all of the billions of galaxies. And they're all different forms of expression, so our souls can have more choices to choose from. And then you choose the timelines, and you choose the parents, and you choose the location. Oh my gosh. I mean, and we chose this. So, but yeah, the depth of emotion, the highs and the lows, is very unusual. And just the density itself is unusual. I mean, 85% of all conscious expressions never experience physicality.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is. I mean, for us, that would be like going into a grocery store with a million items, and we're only picking out 150. We ignore all of the other ones. It's like, wow, how limiting. But it's not. It's just extreme.
Hmm. Yeah, the spectrum of emotions is pretty mind-boggling and potent. Although there are masters like Yeshua who say that, emotions in that respect come from false beliefs and the illusions. All the things that make us unhappy and angry is because we're believing something that's not true. And I don't know how it would work for the happy stuff. I think the happy stuff's okay. I think it's not necessarily
Well,
illusion.
but the hard correlation for me is it's all love. It's just, from our point of view, a perverted version of love energy.
Well, like the belief of lack. So people are believing in a lack of love. It's still the love notion, but it's still a
Yeah.
lack. So that's extremely painful or whatever.
And then, but because it's a loving universe, that energy will not persist.
Mhm.
It comes in, it gets expressed, and then it's gone, like our anger. We get angry, and then our anger fades, and then we go on to another emotion.
Yep. So many emotions. What a buffet.
Mhm.
Do you think that's why a lot of beings don't experience because they're wary of the emotion factor?
No,
Or it's
it's
something
just
else?
they just don't believe that that's the best way for them to learn,
Learn.
expand, and grow. If they did, they'd do it. I
I
mean,
mean,
there
I can
are no
understand that.
learners.
There's so many times where I'm just like, is that just programming that to make us think that we need to have hard experiences to learn and grow? Is that just programming? Can you learn and grow without any hardship at all and a different kind of
You
experience?
wouldn't want it though. You wouldn't choose that because there's not enough contrast there. Serge talked about that when he came in last time. He said, you choose this specifically because of the contrast gives you perspectives that you cannot get in other places. Seth had a comment. He said, in the land of all tall people, short has no meaning. And if everybody was the same size, then tall nor short would ever come about. It would never even be thought of. But that isn't the wide enough expression for a consciousness choice in our case.
Well, so
So,
like that huge percentage of consciousness beings out there that never experience physicality, are you saying they will never in their existence learn to the extent that we learn because they've never been exposed to that kind of contrast?
well, when you say never, you're implying there's a time construct.
Well, you know what I'm saying. How would you word
Yes,
what I'm asking?
it's again, it's just a choice. but they don't see the need. They don't wish to grow in that way. The way that it's been explained to me is that this is the fast track because we can experience so many different variables in one particular consciousness expression we call a lifetime. And other ones, like some of the beings that have come through during open contact, they might spend their whole life underground, or they just walk around their planet and they don't have to eat or anything because everything's provided for them. They get their energy directly from a star or from the planet themselves. So there's not much variety there. So I would imagine if you wanted differentiation, you would get tired of that pretty fast and you would choose something else which would provide you with a greater learning opportunity.
Maybe, maybe not, if so many of them don't ever experience this. I mean, it's like if our soul is outside of time, then what value is the fast track to our soul?
Okay.
Because there's no time.
Okay. What about if you only choose to eat one food for your entire life? You would never experience all of the different tastes, the sweet, the sour, the hot, the cold,
That's a great analogy, the
the
sweet and the
stuff that
sour.
would, make you gag or that would make you crave more. I mean, you would get tired of it all the time just doing one thing.
But that many beings out there don't.
No, but are you,
Clearly they don't.
well, you don't know that they don't.
Well, why else would they not be doing it?
And you don't know that they don't.
Exactly.
Wait, what does that mean?
And you don't know if they don't know. You know if they don't you?
And
No, I don't.
and on another level, it's all shared anyway. It's all one experience. It's just different facets of it.
Well, see that, and that brings another thing I was wondering about recently. If they don't have to experience it because they can just, you know, what is it called? Tap into arts like Neo did and stuff like that. He didn't have to learn martial arts. He just tapped in and then he knew all about it. So we're the ones going in, providing all the material for the others to tap in. And so they do learn from contrast, but not their personal experiences from ours. So they do learn, right?
Well,
In that
yeah, but
respect.
but you can learn from watching a movie too, but it's different if you're in the movie.
Well, don't, isn't there that whole imprint thing? So it's almost like it feels like you had that lifetime, but it wasn't really your lifetime.
It it can be from a different level, but it depends on the experience that you desire.
Hmm.
I mean, some people are fine watching video replays of plays or from concerts, but you go to a concert or you see a performance and it's a completely different experience
Hmm.
because you're mingling so many other energies. And not that those energies aren't present, but they're not present in the same depth, in the same energetic resonance. It depends on your perspective and how you're experiencing the event.
So they can tap in and learn from other people's experiences, but just not at the depth, the same depth.
Correct. And even if they, like, when they, many beings come and experience with us because they want to try to get that experience. They tap into those thoughts and those resonance and those energy signatures because they want to get a different perspective. And that's kind of what, the future Pleiadians are doing. And what all of those beings, which, I give permission to experience and share with, they can come and go as they want. And they're doing that with all of us. It's just that some of us don't believe that it happens, and some of us don't know to what extent. And I'm sure I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. And I mean, they made me a portal with that ceremony. And I have beings coming and going through me using my auric field to tap into and manifest into the physical realm with different dimensions.
You're like Grand Central Station.
Pretty much. It's,
That
I
is
mean, I don't
crazy.
know if it's grand or not, but it's
It's
certainly
pretty grand. It's grand.
it's certainly a a a way of travel.
As long as it doesn't bother you, that's kind of
I'm
wild.
oblivious. I mean, I wouldn't even have known until two different entities, three different entities, including Heidi's, told me about it.
Okay, so this brings in the other question I've been wondering. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. It's sort of related. You know
The-
how, huh? Go
I was
ahead.
just going to say they were pleased that you will never run out of questions, and that and the wording that you were sorting through
That's so funny.
changes um the energetic expression of them. And you were
Yeah.
doing it so fast, and they were just sitting back and they were watching and they were kind of wondering, okay, which of these 15 varieties
Is she
are you going
gonna
to choose?
ask? Right. Oh man, that's so funny. I mean, I couldn't feel them in my head like Heidi could, but when they said that, I was like, oh my God, they were so, yeah, they're so tapped in because that is exactly what happens. They articulated it better than I could. So that's funny. It was an awareness I
They're
hadn't had.
learning. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so this is the question, guys. You know how they talk about we have our life review at the end of our lives.
Hmm.
And not only do we go over all of our lives, but we also experience from the other person's point of view how we affected everybody else, good or bad. So you experience if you made someone happy, you experience that joy from them. But if you did something really bad to someone, you've experienced viscerally the pain that you caused them from their point of view. That's what I've always heard.
Well,
Maybe you haven't heard that, but
there's no judgment. It's
right,
just
right,
all
right. No, no,
right,
no. There's
right.
no
Okay.
judgment, but
But you
you are,
said good or bad, but we know
well,
what you meant. Okay. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's all consciousness expression.
Right, right.
So if you were mean to a stapler or anything, then you're going to see that and how that affected that consciousness.
Right, 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 exactly. And that's where you learn. And not good or bad, but like painful, just, uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. That kind of, if we try to take the judge out of it. But okay, so if we are experiencing from their point of view how we made them feel, then what's with that notion that they always say like, well, in this lifetime, you shot that person. So in the next lifetime, you wanted to be the person that got shot so that you could experience that instead. But we already experienced it when we were going through the life review. We already experienced what it felt like to be the one getting shot. So why would we do a whole nother incarnation? Because we want to be the one who cheated when last time we were the one that got cheated on. Or you know what I mean? They always
Well,
say you
yeah,
swap
but
roles
that's a
and
lot of
stuff.
assumptions because there is an energetic balance which must be maintained before
Hmm.
you can leave the physical realm. So if you're abusive to somebody, then that, in my interpretation, means that you're going to have to do not penance, but you're going to have to perform service for that same energy which you affected to help balance that out. So you may end up taking care of somebody who you beat to death as a slave when they were a slave. You may end up with having them as your mom, and she becomes an invalid and you have to change her bedpan for 35 years and she just bitches at you the whole time. And you just end up doing that because you're like your brothers or sisters won't help you and you feel like you're trapped into that. And then
So,
that energy balances out.
but wouldn't that energy be balanced out during the life review? I mean, you're literally getting an energy shock to the system type of thing. So it's like, um,
Because you're just
what's the point of even feeling that during
the
the life
life
review
review
if
just
you have to go
covers
back?
it just covers that scope of that particular event or
Well,
events.
from what I understand, it's like you feel every single time that you did something to
Right.
somebody.
But to all of those different forms of consciousness. But
Hmm.
if you negatively, I'm using that term for us, negatively impacted somebody and caused them harm or suffering, well,
Right.
you get to understand how that affected them. But then again, you want to experience that from the other side as well.
Even though that's basically what you're doing during the life review,
You
you're getting put
you
in their point of
you
view.
but you're not experiencing it from the life review. You're learning how that energy was transformed through the other being's energetic resonance, how it responded to that energy.
Mm.
It's not so much of, a tit for tat or anything like that, or
Hmm.
you're getting the full experience. You're just learning. Say you were mean to somebody, and then they in turn were mean to somebody else
Hmm.
because you gave them a bad mood or whatever, or they interpreted that as love. So when they wanted to love somebody, they were upset with they were mean to others.
But it's not the same because that's their own personal experience with their own
Yes,
personal resonance,
it's
which you wouldn't
perspective.
have if you had your own lifetime doing it. That's interesting.
And you don't, it's always still a choice, but the energy you can't leave. It's not, there are no closed systems. So energy that you put out affects multiple densities or dimensions.
Hmm.
And you have to work it out so that you want to achieve harmony because you want to experience the fullness of that conscious expression around those events. It's like you go in and you go into the candy store and you want to try a specific candy. No, you want to try them all from every perspective. You want the fullness of that experience. You go to an event, you want to sit in every venue in the entire every seat in the venue for that one event so you can get a different perspective from each one,
Hmm.
from backstage to the orchestra pit to the balcony. Yes, Christina Anna?
All
I
right.
didn't want to interrupt, but I also had a question for you if you got any impressions because they said there are many beings who wish to protect me from those challenges which I have experienced in other forms, as in other lives. Did you get any impressions there?
You were a darling to them. So
Oh,
it was
oh,
like you trying to protect your kitties.
mhm,
You want them to have the best of life because there are other opportunities for those other experiences. But for this one, they are steering away people who might wish to harm you or even cause you emotional distress because for whatever reason. But that's what they were kind of saying. You have very few people who are mean to you because you are so nice and because they are protecting you. They can say, if somebody's looking for a victim, they might look at you and somebody says, "Hey, look at the time, we got to go." And then it just doesn't manifest in your reality. That's the impression that I had. And thank you for bringing that up because I don't remember a whole lot. It fades pretty quickly.
wow. But they said there's many beings because I honor and welcome all who come into my experience, they said.
Yeah, you have authentic love energy, and you do that in your human form,
Hmm,
because you're not going to see somebody and think, well, I need to be mean to this person. That's not even going to occur to you
hmm,
because you have that authentic love expression. Does that make sense?
hmm,
And they think that that is precious. And for this, now, I don't know, maybe at some point you set up a challenge where that happens. And maybe there's trauma or something, but for right now, you're protected.
hmm,
I mean, I'm I view myself as protected. I am safe. That's the first affirmation that I go through 5, 6, 7 times every day. Almost every time I walk the dog, every time when I go to bed. That's part of my routine. I go through all of my affirmations. When I wake up, before I open my eyes, I go through all of my affirmations, and I am safe is the first one. And there's no qualification on that. It doesn't matter. An asteroid could come down and I would bend down and it would miss me because I was ducking. I don't care how it manifests. I just know that I'm safe. And because I have other beings who have invested energy in me and in this particular timeline, they're not going to, let me expire before they get that usefulness out of me. And like, because when I was depressed, at one point, I had my goodbye notes written out, I had my tarp ready, I had my weapon, and I had my place picked out. And then they came through several times and they said, look, you've spent all of this time getting to this point. You've accumulated all of this knowledge, and you're not going to take the opportunity to share it. And I was like, you fuckers. And, then one person came and asked about me, and things changed. And, I go, I'm a Leo, I'm a moody motherfucker. And I'm generally just very happy, but I have my energies that come in, and when they come in, I go into them. And, I know that it's going to pass, but I want to get those energies out. I want to pay tribute to them. So generally, I just write poetry on that kind of stuff. You know, I had one that I did, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago or so about um, somebody using me as an emotional support human. That, they were having a rough time and I was helping them get through it. But as soon as they got through it, then it's like I was passé. And so, I wrote a poem about that. And I used that energy and I released it in that way. And, eventually, maybe one day I'll go back and edit it and maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I just write them and I title them and I put them in a file. That's why I have 300 files of different writings.
It's definitely a good outlet. We
Yeah,
all want to be heard, and that's a way to express yourself so that you're heard.
yeah. A coping mechanism in ways too. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, because I mean, it's not like, and I know I've expressed this to all of you, it's not like I have close friends. I don't have anybody that I live with except for Ollie. I don't have people to share my day with. And that's important, especially for people, because I thrive when I'm in contact with other people, but you get me by myself and it's like, oh, I need people to play off of because I want to help. I want to be of service. I want to get that energy out and uplift others. And I can't do that. I mean, I can compliment Ollie all I want, but he's going to wag sometimes and I'm going to get him to lick my face, but that that's not as satisfying as hearing people laugh and knowing that I've made a difference.
But can't you pull up the hybrid children anytime you want?
But you have to be in the mood to wish to do that. And if you're down, I could do that and they could help, and they do sometimes. But I'm not here to sidetrack those emotions. I'm here to explore them. So when they happen, I use them for what they're worth. And, I don't want to shortcut them. I don't want to hide them away. I don't want them to manifest in my cells. I want to use them up and release them. So,
But I mean, couldn't you do that by talking out your emotions, talking through stuff with the hybrids, and that would make you feel like connection and at the
okay,
same time?
if you were really pissed off or depressed and somebody came in and said, "Hey, let's go play. What do you think? Let's sing this new song that I just made up." You would be quick to say, "Get the fuck away from me." I mean, you're not going to say, "Oh boy, you're suddenly going to choose a different emotion."
Well, I can see a smile tugging at your lips when they're
Yeah.
doing that, when you're trying really hard to stay in a grumpy mood. You know what I mean? I can see them just busting through it despite your efforts.
Yeah, well, we choose our emotions, and I know that too. But I want to go into that feeling and use it up so that it doesn't stick with me.
And you do that by writing poems. I love that
Well, I
idea.
can. I mean, that's one way. Sometimes I go bowl and I take out my frustration through physical activity or work in the garden, or I go and I destroy 15 or 20 honeysuckle plants in the forest. Take that, motherfucker.
Why would you
You
do
know,
that? We love honeysuckles.
it's invasive. Are you kidding me? It's the dearth of the forest.
Yeah, but
That and the
strawberry
Asian
plants are
bittersweet.
invasive too.
The
They're like
strawberry
gifts
fa
from the
But
gods.
the strawberry plants are not killing the forest. They're not keeping
Oh,
other
well,
things from growing and ruining the ecology of it. And through my efforts over the last, well, I've lived here 10 years, but I've spent 7 years now working in the forest. New trees are coming in because they're now getting sun where otherwise they wouldn't. And the deer have more variety to browse from. So they're living healthier lives. And other insects are now coming in and thriving because there's more variety. So, certain ones are attracted to certain plants, and the natives are coming back.
so you're sort of like a little forest ranger,
I'm keeper of the forest. They know
keeper of
me
the
there.
forest.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that the beings of light told me that, that all of the elementals and all of those, the fairies and the gnomes, they all really appreciate me, and the trees and the animals as well.
the honeysuckles probably don't appreciate you.
Well, I actually asked an entity about that. I'm like, how do the honeysuckle feel that, I'm having all of this aggression and I'm harming them? And they said they don't care because 150 yards away, you're having no effect. And as soon as you stop, they're filling in everything that you did. So they don't care.
Oh,
Well,
And
that's
it's
cool.
And it's not like I don't love the honeysuckle, but I love them where they belong, and they don't belong in my forest. It's actually the forest, and I'm a part of it. So I'm just exercising my rights. But right now, I mean, I don't have any desire to experience tick bites on a regular basis. So I
Yep.
spent my time in the fall and winter clearing paths and seeing, and keeping that greenery away and staying away from where all the deer bed down because I don't
Smart
want those
guy.
ticks. But today I was like, I had a mission because in another part of the forest, I saw these really cool jonquils or daffodils. And they have such a cool form and coloring and shape. And I was like, I've been trying to get back out there because I'm like, I'm going to dig up some of those bulbs and put them in my yard.
I
And I've been
love
waiting for
daffodils.
the right time. So today, Ollie and I went back and I picked off a couple of ticks off of him, but I found them and I dug up four of them. And I had my little bag and my little spade. And
Nice.
yep. And then I brought them home and I planted them today. So
Oh my God, are you guys not getting all the rain over where you are? That's just total East
we had
Coast.
that
We're
last
just
week.
just a whole week straight of rain.
Well,
Oh my God.
we didn't have a whole lot, but it came and it was a godsend to me because it was like scheduled. Well, we were supposed to hit 92 degrees and the clouds came and it rained for like 8 hours and it never got above 76, 77 degrees, which is a they just did it just for me because they know my air conditioner doesn't work really well.
Oh, that was
So
very nice.
yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, it's
And
been like rain nonstop for a week straight here.
where are you at
It's
again?
really crazy. The East Coast and
Okay.
Virginia,
Okay.
trying to get your warm weather plants, garden plants going, and then you get this, and you're like, what the heck is going on? It's strange.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeehaw.
Keeper of the Forest. That's pretty cool, Ray. Another cool accolade to add to your portfolio.
Yep. And I'd love to hire some. I'd love to, go buy several hundred acres of wood and just hire a crew to just go in and just maintain it. With the right lottery numbers, that'll happen. Or if I sell,
Mm.
I don't know how many books that'll take, what, 15 million, 100 million?
Get the audiobook up there, up and
Yeah,
running.
it's coming. It's on the focus, but
I got my book, by the way. Yay.
Oh, thank
Yay.
you. Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Uh,
It's yeah, it's
so
beautiful.
are you gonna, I need to work on activating this big portal that I have dreamt of. It's right here. But I need to get you to sign it. I need some help with that portal.
Yep. And I'll be, oh,
Fabulous.
that's a joy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And one of the people who bought my book, she finished it today and she got a hold of me because I have a she has a podcast and I'm scheduled to have an interview with her Tuesday.
Cool.
And I told her, I'm like, the hybrid children said after you finish the book, they will give you a session because then when we have the interview, you will be so excited and have so much of that love energy and that excitement coming through
Mm.
you that that many of the people who see that interview will have that excitement and they will want to participate in that. It will spur interest, you know? And she said, "Oh, that makes so much sense." So I'm having a session with her tomorrow,
Cool.
the hybrid children at noon.
I wonder if when you go to your event out in Sedona, I wonder since you're going to actually be a speaker kind of person there, I wonder if you could bring like a box of books for anyone who wants to talk to you afterwards. You could tell them I've got books that I'm selling if you want one signed, because it's an opportunity to sign books. I wonder if that would be something you could do there.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm already making arrangements to secure the money to get a case of hardbacks and paperbacks. But it's $375 for
Mm,
a case of
yikes.
30 hardback books. And it's like $280 for a case. So there's 30 in the hardbacks, and then in the paperbacks, it's like $280 and there's like 250 of them. I mean 25 of them or more. Whatever it works out to be. But I get to buy them at cost, but I'm not sure
Right.
exactly if that's right. It's like $11 and a penny for the
I wonder if it'd be
hardbacks.
worth it for the hardbacks. I wonder if it would just be more,
Well, it
make
depends
more
on what
sense
I
to do
can sell them
paperback.
for. Because if I'm buying them for $11 plus,
Hmm.
let's say $3 shipping, and I can sell them for $30, then I'm making a hell of a lot more that way than I am if anybody's buying them online or in a store.
Well, no, I mean, people might prefer paperback versus
Yeah,
hardcover, is
well,
what I
that's
mean.
why but I have to order them in time because sometimes it
Hmm.
takes 2 weeks for them to come in.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to have the money tomorrow because I don't get my Social Security check until Wednesday. So I'm hoping I could place the order tomorrow and have them come in by the 9th when I leave for Sedona. And the future Pleiadians today told me that they will help me manifest that so that they come in on
Mm.
time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they gave me a 10-minute session today. I asked them for all kinds of stuff. And that's when they gave me the information on the tall whites. Because I was
Mm.
asking them, I'm like, well, I have this other podcast. When should I do it? And they said, you need 2 or 3 days in between those, but you can do it before you leave. That's fine. But they told me I had to spend several hours um, preparing for that interview by going through my book
Mm.
and learning more about what's in it. And they said, well, that process will enable you to pull that information out for all of your future interviews because you'll have that in your toolkit, so to speak. So that's what I was doing today, and it was so emotional because there was so much love coming from the future Palladians. And then I'm going through and I have all of these beings who are their energy just keeps flooding me when I go back and I start reading that book again. And I'm going through all of these different quotes and stuff. It just affects me. And Heidi
Yes.
was part of that. She's in the book.
Nice.
And well, she's in it a couple times. She's in the there's two glossaries, right? So yeah, two
Hmm.
forewords and two glossaries. How strange.
Two glossaries.
Yeah, that is strange. Two glossaries.
Yeah,
Glossary
because
of
I did
what and
one.
glossary of what?
Yeah.
The editor and then somebody else, well, actually Leslie, who has published her own book, and she did publishing for her significant other Ken whenever he was active in doing that. He died last year, but or maybe it was earlier this year, maybe. No, it's right. I
Mm.
think it was November. But anyway, and the editor told me, he says, you have so many terms which are unfamiliar to the average reader, you need a glossary. And he said, I'm not telling you what to do. And I asked Leslie, I said, hey, do you think I need a glossary? She said, yes, absolutely. Oh shit. Okay. I'm 2 for 2 on glossaries, so I'm just like, I just did one. And I did one. I just looked at the name and I just wrote it out myself. I said, in the book that these are not dictionary terms. These are my interpretations and definitions of these particular beings or events or whatever it might be, like open contact or Andromedon or the different hybrid beings, Maze, Mazani, Sasani, Yael, Shalanaya, which is the hybrid children, Anuhet.
S- So what were the two different ones? One's just for
Well,
ETs
one
beings?
I did, and then I was like, well, I wonder what the hybrid children would give for their definitions. So I brought in the hybrid children, and Leslie actually asked them the question. They gave them the terms, and then they gave their own glossary definitions of
Oh, so
all of those.
you've got a glossary from the hybrid children. Oh, that's interesting.
Am I in
It
the hybrid children
is.
one?
Yes. One's
That's
my
amazing.
definitions, and the hybrid children did their own on the same topics. And then they said, well, you didn't give us all of the names, but we're going to tell you what all of the names are. Like when they didn't do one for Heidi and for, Ryoka and all of the other beings who did that. They just said, well, the people in your group, and they just gave their definition. They're all wonderful, wonderful, energetic, open-hearted beings, and we love them all. And they're a big supporter of Uncle Ray and of us, and we look forward to interacting with them when we come to the planet. They're all fabulous individuals. And then so I have a little paragraph down at the bottom that says, the individuals were not discussed, but here's what they had to say about them. So those are all in mass. So those aren't covered individually in the book like I did. I gave actual definitions of them.
Ray,
Hmm.
would you maybe recommend to start first by reading the glossary and then the book?
No,
No.
because it'll be more entertaining anyway when you get to it. I mean, do what your impulses tell you.
But we probably are familiar with all those
Yeah,
Well, I
but
mean, do you know
still,
if you hear Anuhet, what does that mean to you?
those are ancient, like 12th dimensionals, aren't they? Something like that.
No, those are 1,000 years in the future of our timeline where
Oh.
humans become
Mhm.
non-physical. Those
Hmm.
are the combination of the best of all of the hybrid beings and humans, which have such a high vibration that they no longer can be physical. They were above 333,000 cycles per second. And so we become the spirit advisors for other physical races and beyond.
So that's what, seventh density, something like that.
I don't know. I mean, it's non-physical, so we know
Hmm.
it's at least fifth, but
Yeah.
and then it progresses from there.
Hmm.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Did you go through Amazon Publishing?
Yes, because it
Okay.
was really easy.
Very easy.
Uh, and I don't know if you've. So I happened to be looking up Daryl Anka's book, the formula, because I've never actually bought that or read it. um, but I was looking at the company that they used. It's called Book Baby. It's a fair trade company. And so I don't know. I thought I would just, putting the link in the chat because when I saw it, it just seemed like a good company. So I thought I would share it. And
Well,
since, go ahead.
no, I've finished your thought.
Well, I was just going to say that, since Daryl Inca used it for that book, I don't know under what circumstances if they're happy with it or whatever, but
Well, if you have a team, you can do explore other types of publishing.
oh,
You,
okay.
I mean,
I don't know what's
yeah,
involved.
if you have 15 people who are helping you with the editing and making all of those decisions, and you can invest cash in your own publishing company, then,
Yeah.
you
He
know,
probably is working with a publishing
yeah,
company.
because I mean, I have no leverage. Now, if I sell 10 million books, yeah, I can or 1 million books. And good night, Christine. Thank you.
Hi.
Then I will have more leverage because you don't even get to talk to a human. You don't get to you don't have any rights other than what they give you. And
Hmm.
they say, well, this is what it's going to be. And oh, well, oh, you want this for your image? I'm sorry. We're only going to allow you to have these particular colors.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hmm.
oh, I'm sorry, your formatting isn't within the parameters that we will work with. So you need to change this. They dictate all of the constraints, and you just have to work between those lines.
Do you have yours on Kindle also?
Yes, it
Oh,
was
good,
released
good.
on Kindle first, and then after that came through, then the Ingram Sparks versions were put in, and they actually turned them around in like 8 days, which
Make
wasn't bad.
sure make sure you also have them. I would recommend KDP. Did you
Yeah.
look into that
Well, yeah,
with
that's Amazon,
well,
Kindle Direct Publishing.
the doing the Kindle Unlimited. You know how some people do the
It's yeah,
it's on that also?
George, the editor, took care of all of that.
Okay,
And you
because
have
that's
to
where a lot of it
buy
is.
and like Amazon will produce their own hardback version, which still goes through Ingram Sparks, who prints all of their physical books for them. But they wanted a separate ISBN, an International Standard Book Number, for their own version of hardback.
Hmm.
They would not use the Ingram Spark ISBN number. And you buy them in a book of 10 for $130,
Hmm.
or you can buy one for 120. So they kind of force you, and there's only one company you can buy them from in the United States and one company in Europe.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous. Talk about a monopoly.
Hmm.
Now, but there are lots of people who will sell you them at a discount, but when you do that, you're not the publisher. Like I used one Enlightened Media as the publisher, which is me.
Hmm.
So, but if you use like another service who sells ISBNs, then oh, you look who the publisher is. Oh, it's KDP Publishing. It's not
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
So that means if somebody wants rights, they have to go through KDP and then they can say, oh, well, you want this for an anthology? This is what we need.
Hmm.
You lose that option.
Hmm.
Somebody wants to make a movie of it. Oh, guess who owns the publishing rights? Oh, KDP does, or Ingram Spark, or whatever. You lose some of that creative control. Oh, and you can bitch about it and you could sue them. Oh, you agreed that it has to go through arbitration. Oh, yeah, you have all of this fine print and they control everything. So
Hmm.
They
I'm,
have, sorry. I thought you were done.
oh,
Please continue.
please, no, please don't ever say sorry for interrupting me. Oh my gosh, you're doing me a service.
Well, I'm saying sorry for interrupting anyone, so please continue.
That was it.
Oh, okay. I was just looking on there, the website that I put on there, you can price your books. You can put in how many you want, how many pages it is, printed versus ebooks. It gives you pricing for their website plus Amazon, or their website alone. So it's I mean I just anyway they just seem like they have a good energy to them.
Cool.
The Yeah.
And
So
that's another way that Amazon monopolizes because they won't allow you to be on their Kindle Unlimited program if you're selling on um any other places other than Amazon. And their
oh,
Kindle
really?
Unlimited is where a lot of people make a good portion of their royalties. So they kind of nip that in the bud too. I mean, you can absolutely sell at Amazon and a whole bunch of other book distributors, but you can't take advantage of Amazon's Kindle Unlimited if you do
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah.
But I don't know if Ray's even doing Kindle Unlimited or not.
Well, it's an
It's
option, but
I mean, it's a good discussion to have
yeah,
because, it's nice to have options. It's not nice to
yeah.
work with someone who's monopolizing
Oh,
everything.
and believe me, I'm more than willing to look at those other options, but in the beginning, just getting started,
Getting your foot in the door,
I was
yeah.
just had to
Yeah.
get it out there. And like, the hybrid children said, the timing is important.
Yeah. I'm sure you went the right route.
And
I looked it up
yeah.
and I thought, oh, I wonder if anybody
Yeah,
else
well, I
is
appreciate
interested
you
in
bringing it
this.
up because I
So,
mean,
yeah,
something that
sure.
says fair trade, I'm all about it. I'll pay
Yeah.
more, for fair trade chocolate versus other stuff.
Well, I'm curious because I've never done a book,
Yet,
so I don't know what cost it takes to give to Amazon, um, and how this one compares at all. So
well, and George did it all. I mean, I
that's
gave
nice.
him, my passwords and stuff like that, and he designed my profile and put my picture in. And then when they didn't get it done on time, he put in the trouble ticket and got them to respond and fix it.
Sounds like
Because,
he was an invaluable asset
hmm
oh
to
my
whoever's
gosh, yes. And he's getting paid
resource.
off of the proceeds.
Mm.
He was so enamored with my channeling and with his hybrid children's session and all of the energy, and he saw the future in it. And so he agreed to do it all without getting any
Wow.
money up front. Now, he does not do that for people. And he said, you can't tell anybody what I'm charging you for this because this is a special thing just for you.
Wow.
And I might be working this damn thing off with personal sessions for the next 30 years. But no, he's getting half of all of my proceeds until he gets to the number that I want him to have, which is above and beyond what he told me he needs. So, and I told him I would not tell anybody. But yeah, he does because like when you put the book in, you have to have different formats for the ebook, for the hardback, for the paperback. And you have to coordinate all of this stuff and you have to like put in the margins. I mean, you're writing in what size font and all of that stuff. You have to select all of that stuff and give that into as instructions so they can make the physical books. And you have to design the back cover and you have the different folds of it. And there's so many details.
Yeah, and then there's the front material, the back material. They've got all the links, the hyperlinks. I mean, you've got all
Yes.
kinds of stuff going on. The table of contents, just yeah.
And all I had to do was write it and rewrite it and then do my edits and then he would do his edits and then
But
I
you
would
did design the cover. That was good.
yeah. Well, I had Chat GPT do the pictures of it.
Hmm
And then George did a couple of mock-ups and he said, I think this color scheme and I kept what he had. I'm like, you're the expert. And I showed it to a couple. I saw it and I was enamored. I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking amazing. And I showed it to other people and they're like, that is emotionally appealing because I knew that's what I needed. I needed somebody when they saw that they would want to pick it up. And we talked about that too, Angie. that,
Mm-hmm.
and if you turn it over and you see that picture and you're like, oh, well, I want to see what this is about. Oh, it's a
Right.
love story. Oh, what kind of love story? And some people, like when you ask me, you're like, well, did you say anything about the hybrid children in the book? I'm like, no, I wanted those impulse buys. I want people to see those cute kids and to pick it up and pay
Mhm.
money for it. And if they want to give it away to somebody else, hey, I got their cash, you know?
Well, they could technically return it. Be careful.
Yeah, well,
No,
that'll
but
balance out too because I don't get paid until 60 days after the end of the month
hmm
of the sale. So anything that's purchased in May,
hmm
gee, in August, I'll get a check for it.
hmm Right.
So,
Exactly. But definitely look into Kindle Unlimited if you are not on there because a lot of people,
uh,
especially for new authors, a lot of people aren't willing to invest in buying the book if they're not familiar with you, not
yeah,
familiar with your work. But if they're already on Kindle Unlimited where they pay the monthly fee, they will pick it up and then you get paid for every page they read. Because
yep,
it's not a risk on their end. And so a lot of people find new authors and stuff that way, which they wouldn't otherwise
yeah, I have
have
like
risked it.
490 something pages read so far. And one of my friends has Kindle Unlimited, and she picked it up and she's reading it now. And she says, oh my
Nice.
gosh, this is fabulous. I'm learning so much.
Yeah, about you.
Yeah.
You were able to share a lot. And it's also fascinating.
Why, thank you.
Like that pool table thing with that
Yeah.
guy. That's so funny.
And
Wow.
that was a trip.
Yeah.
It's all a trip.
hmm
Yeah, I mean to have another being take over your physical form and do other things. And there's other events that, didn't make it into the book.
That's like Ghost with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes, exactly.
That's so wild.
Like, there's another event that I had where me and a friend of mine, my best friend, we did all kinds of athletic stuff together. We bowled, um, we played tennis, and then there was, I guess back in the 80s, they had this flying ring called an aerobie, or maybe it was an aerobie. And if you spun it, the rotation of it forced the air down so it would stay in flight. Somebody actually threw one for a fifth of a mile. So, but because of the way it's designed, if you had it level, it kept going and going and going. But if it curved 1/10 of a degree, it was curving and curving and curving. So if you didn't keep it level, you were running your ass off trying to catch that mother before it zoomed into 4 yards over or, wherever it was. And we were out there and we were playing, and, we used to play catch on two opposing softball fields, and we were both on the opposite home plates, and we were throwing this thing to each other. On this particular one, we were probably 90 yards away, so I guess that's 270 feet, which is, I don't know how many meters that is, and we were playing, and it was a little bit of a windy day, which really acerbated if it slanted, the wind was going to catch it, and you were running your ass off trying to get to that thing.
Good
And
exercise.
so he threw one, and I started running. I'm like, I'm going to need some help to catch this one. And I was running faster than a horse. The being came down, and I actually looked down at one point, and my feet were not even touching the ground.
Oh
I'm
my God, it was
running, and
Hermes.
I'm
You
just
had
going,
Hermes inside you.
and it was freaking incredible. It freaked me out. And I went up there and I caught it at the last moment. And then I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell was that? And then, so I started running my way back to him and I was throwing it to him. We were playing catch and he said, dude, I ran track. I was in football. He said, there is no human on this entire earth that has ever run as fast as what you did. I've seen horses that couldn't run that fast. And I was just freaking out because I was afraid to look down. I'm like, are my feet even touching the ground? And I'm like, holy shit, they're not touching the ground. And it was just wild. And I'm just bawling. I'm feeling so blessed. I'm like, nobody's going to believe this shit.
God.
But those are some of the experiences, that I've had.
That should have made it in the book.
Well, but I thought about that, but I'm like, people don't know what a flying ring is and all of that stuff. And if you don't know what, that little angle difference is going to create something, that's something that it's hard to conceptualize for people.
True, true.
So I left it off. And I just mentioned that, oh yeah, two of the entities which have come and visited me, Harry Chapin and Mark Twain, and then like I was,
Mark Twain, that's pretty cool.
yeah, he in a channeling session with Kathleen Whitehead, she, the entity asked me the aspects of love. They said, okay, we're going to give you an example of your abilities. And they were talking to all of us, and they said, okay, if you could channel any being, who would it be? And I said, well, I would let my higher self pick because from that perspective, I would get the entity which was more fulfilling for my growth. And they said, okay, if your ego could pick, who would you pick? And then Mark Twain's popped into my head. So I'm like, hey, let's go for it. And I said,
Mm.
Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain. And then boom, he's there and he says, this isn't a riverboat. And it was like, holy shit. Mark Twain, and he was a sarcastic motherfucker, and he wanted to know what everything was like. Why do they call this a monitor? Who is it monitoring? And all kinds of stuff. And he stayed with me for over a half hour. And during that, after, he was talking for a little bit. And then I was actually boiling some cow femurs for my dog. I boil them and then I freeze them. And I put them in a pressure cooker and I didn't put the lid on all the way because I didn't want that pressure going while I was in a session. I didn't want it to explode on me. So after I did that, I got up to go check on it. And when I picked it up, on I made the mistake when I did it of actually putting the lid on a little too tight. And all of that pressure was in there, and all of these cow femurs are boiling. And all of that fat and everything is on the top. And when I picked it up, the lids moved, and all of that boiling fat went all over my hand.
Oh, God.
And earlier that day, I had learned that pain is a wave. And if you don't give it a place to stay, then you don't feel it. And so the first thing I said was, I am safe. And then I knew that it was going to go through. And then I said, I need a towel to clean up this fucking mess. And so I grabbed a couple of towels and I wiped off my hand and then I started cleaning up the mess. And there was no scarring, no nothing.
Mm.
And I got a little water blister that took like 2 days to go down. But it didn't even discolor my hand or anything. And if you've ever had something hot that's fat, I'm sorry, you're getting a third-degree burn. It's because you're not getting it off. And it's boiling, you know?
Hmm.
And then Samuel Clemens says, well, you didn't have to get a badge to remember me by on the back of your hand because it was red at the time. But, then it faded. And I was like, you're so sarcastic. I was just laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he was just at me every moment, the whole time for a half hour, being sarcastic and asking me questions and making smart ass comments. It was fabulous. Yeah, and one time when I came back from vacation, I was hungry, and two entities told me what I should make. And I'm like, Okay. And I'm like, well, this is freaking wild. And they had me, yes, Christina?
Sorry, well, to interrupt, but I was thinking, Heidi, it all joins because you said being sarcastic, and Heidi earlier was apologizing for asking personal questions. And when I had my session with the usual, they were also being very cheeky. I don't know if one can call that sarcastic, but they were being cheeky. And I wanted to share with Heidi this answer that they gave because I think it is very relevant and
Please
it will
do.
make you, huh?
Please do.
Yes, Heidi, it will make you feel much better because I said the same thing, right? I said, are we supposed to be asking personal questions? I know it's expected for questions to be voiced that would more benefit the collective. And then their response was, and where on earth would you get the idea that asking a personal question would not benefit the collective? We wish to find out where that seed is, so we may grab it, because that will be the very first one that has ever been made in the history of reality. But there are no limits. But you have just invented something very novel. So,
So personal questions are allowed.
Yeah,
yes.
no, it was you can't ask a personal question that does not benefit the entire Earth collective. That was
Mm.
their point.
Well, she also said that she was blocked from the answer on the first one, and had to end the question. So, and I kind of thought I didn't think it. I've had that answer before. Like, yeah, we can't tell you.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's what the hybrid children kind of told Angie too when she asked
Yeah, that's
about
what Heidi
Cherry.
told me on Thursday too. We're like, yeah, I'm not getting an answer on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing was coming. I guess just sometimes they want us to work it out, to do it ourselves, or just to wait or whatever.
Or if
So,
that's, yeah, if that's on your soul path, they're not going to give you a shortcut.
yeah.
Yeah, because I had to tell Angie, the next day, I'm like, the hybrid children didn't want to answer your question about Cherry because she wasn't viable and she was lovingly destroyed. Or all of that energy, or all of that being was utilized for another purpose. It no longer human and associated with it. And they didn't want to do that. They were almost downright rude to her. They said, next question. And they were just like, wow. Yeah, but the two beings who came over, they said, I didn't like, they said, okay, well, now we had croutons. And I'm like, I don't have croutons. And they're like, damn Westerners. And they were abusing me the whole time. And I ended up using like 14 or 15 different ingredients in this chicken dish, like strawberry jelly and blueberries. And they had me like grab some mint leaves and all this other stuff. And they keep saying, well, now you add this. And I'm like, I don't have that. Oh, look, he doesn't have that. Oh, wow. You know, and like I ended up having to use crackers instead of croutons. Oh, crackers, how flavorful. How do you survive? How do you even, how do you even, how do you even enjoy yourself putting all of this tasteless food in your mouth? And I was abused for like 20 something minutes and I loved every minute of it.
Oh, I
They
was
were
gonna say
so
why.
sarcastic. I know. It
I've
was
had help cooking before, but it's only been like, it would be really good in there is this.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I have too. I get told what to eat, a lot. But yeah, but
So
and
how was
whatever
the
they made,
dish?
it was really good.
Oh, it was good.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, yes. It was much better than anything and I'm like, I've never made anything with jelly and blueberries in it for meat. And then like they said, "Oh, we'll put some salt in," and they said, "No, more salt," and they said, "More salt," and I'm like, what are you trying to do to me?" But it all fit together really well. It was just amazing. But they would ask for something and I wouldn't have it, and then they'd have to substitute. Well, put butter in it. I don't have butter. We don't have butter. And so I had to, well, what do you have? And I'm like, well, I have a little olive oil. Okay, use the olive oil. Is it cold pressed? Oh my God, he buys the cheap shit. Do you believe this guy? You know, and they were just talking back and forth, and I'm like, hey, I'm right here. And they didn't care.
I will agree on the olive oil. It's worth the
Yeah.
to buy the expensive one. It should be good.
Yeah, but like they told me how long to cook it and what heat. Okay, and they're like, oh, now add a little water and flip it. And like they ask for wine and all this other stuff to be added to it. And I'm like, I don't have that. And they're like, well, what do you have? It was just hilarious. I wish I had a video of that. But yeah, that didn't make it into the
So,
book
do you
either.
think they were like ghosts of humans?
Uh,
Like, who were these
I
beings?
think they just wanted they were experienced in what they did, and they were obviously of European origin of some kind.
So you had like two chefs coming, kind of like the Muppets.
Yes, are really experienced cooks
That's
because
so
they knew
funny.
exactly how to blend everything
Oh,
and
wow.
how to cook it, and it was fabulous. And I've had experiences of the intimate type where entities came in. I had one where um, I had been physically active all day and I was getting tired. And an entity said, "You want me to take over?" And I was like curious. I said, "Sure." And all of a sudden, oh my gosh, my physical attributes changed. My shoulders got wider and other parts. And my my partner at the time, her eyes got really big and he was masterful. Oh my gosh. And it she enjoyed the hell out of that. And then after it was all done, she was like, "What the hell happened?" And I'm like, "He asked if he could come in and finish. I was getting tired." And she's like, "Can he come back?" And I'm like, "Oh, what the hell with you?"
Wow.
Yeah. And that happened a couple of times.
A
Like one
couple
time,
times.
yeah, I mean, I was with somebody else and we said, we've just been hanging out and, going to bed all the time. Can we just go ahead and do something else? So we were playing cards and we said, we're not going to do anything tonight. And I'm like, hey, I'm good with that. And she was good with that. And then entities both came. It was a husband and wife, and they wanted to have another intimate encounter.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then we both lost interest in the
Surrogacy.
card game. Yeah. And
Wow.
then so we couldn't keep our hands off of each other. And we never even made it out of the kitchen. And they were both so happy. We were both just crying and crying because they filled us with so much love. And it was just so loving. And they were
So,
so grateful.
so your girlfriend was on par with you in
Well,
on that
she wasn't my
respect.
girlfriend. That was just somebody a friend that,
Well,
was
whatever,
there.
she
Yeah,
must have been
yeah,
to be able to experience it like you did.
yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, it was just the love which came through and the gratitude that they got to share that physical experience one more time. It was freaking amazing.
That is amazing.
Obviously that didn't make it into the book either, but
Maybe the tall whites. Don't write it off.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know that they're in for that depth of emotion. Are you being efficient? Okay.
Well, they were being efficient. The husband and wife were being very efficient. They were using what they had at their disposal.
Well, I guess that depends on your point of view. Yeah, but they were definitely being very romantic.
Did you
And
Oh,
guys take some mental notes?
there was no note taking going on. We were just both enamored with the experience
Mm,
because it was just so loving. There was so much love that was coming through. I mean, we were both just crying because of all the love. We just couldn't handle it all. And then afterwards, we were just, sitting there and we're like, "Oh my gosh, that was just so amazing." And it wasn't the act at all. It was the act of being of service to those beings, whoever they were.
it seems like too, like with the understanding they have outside of the forgetfulness, the understanding of love and the understanding of each other outside, this being in this forgetfulness. Yeah, I could see how that would be
Yeah.
a really beautiful experience for them.
Yeah, because
yeah.
they were physical at one time and they were no longer physical. But they saw that opportunity to come in and have that expression one more time.
How did the opportunity come up, present itself?
I guess they just saw that we were amenable to that particular experience
Huh.
because we had both said, we're not going to do anything tonight. And we were just playing cards. And then, like 4 or 5 minutes, we just kind of lost interest to cards. And then, I kind of reached out my hand and she reached out her hand. And then next thing you know, we were making out and that was just a loving experience. And,
Wow.
the kitchen is not really the most appropriate place, I guess, because it's not as comfortable in some ways, but yeah, it worked.
They didn't seem to mind, I guess.
Mm-mm.
No, and we didn't mind either.
So they literally came in and asked for your consent, permission to.
Well, in a way, because I have to kind of guess what she was feeling, but she felt it too. There was no escaping that closeness and exactly what they wanted. And it added an extra layer of love on whatever we were doing. And we both just were, I guess we were channeling them. And they just took over and, did their loving embrace and everything else. And it was just
So you
so
had you had
tender.
an you had like a sense or a knowing that it was a husband and wife somewhere in there.
That was our impression, but
Oh, okay.
it's not like rings appeared on our finger or something like
Right.
that. We didn't have any, time frame about, it could have been in the Renaissance, it could have been Neanderthals, who knows? But they just wanted that experience. And we knew that they had had it before because they wanted it again. That was one of the
Mm,
things. So, and yeah, and maybe I should ask about who was that?
you should.
Yeah.
Might be
And
surprised.
like the guy who sang the Star Spangled Banner in perfect baritone at the Cardinal game. I don't know who that was, but he was a professional singer. And,
Hmm.
I cannot sing. Well, I can, but nobody likes it. And, when you stand up and you're belting out a difficult song like that in perfect baritone, and people three sections over are standing up saying, "Where's that voice coming from?" And the people around me who have heard me croak out the Star Spangled Banner for almost a decade, and now all of a sudden I'm singing this perfect baritone, and they're like, "I didn't know you could sing like that." I'm like, "I can't." And I'm just crying my eyes out. Yeah, it was wild.
I have to get going, guys. So it's been a great night.
Yeah, thanks for letting me talk so much and sharing the experience.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye now. Everybody heading out. I don't blame you. It's
Everyone looks
tiring.
tired. I'm the
Yeah.
only one on the West Coast.
Yes. Thank you all.
Good night,
What a
everyone.
fun night. Yes.
It was a
Appreciate
very
it.
special night.